Welcome back. This is Aquarium Hacks by Marcus. And so today I'm going to talk about, how I set up my Lake Tanganyika aquarium. But before I get into that, I want to address something really quick. There have been from time to time, not very often, but people who will make rude or cruel and cursing comments on my channel. And this is not something that's unfamiliar with several YouTube channels. I will not tolerate rude and disrespectful comments. I will remove you and I will report you. There's no need to be rude and disrespectful and cursing about aquarium fish. That's just silly. That's just foolish. And I will not tolerate that on my channel. There are young children that are watching this channel, and there are far more important things in the world that are going on. That is definitely a sad situation. And so to be mad or to be cruel on my channel, make foolish and silly comments would not be tolerated. I don't mind good, respectful, constructive criticism. That is fine. We're all learning things from this channel, and we're all learning things in the community. And I don't mind if someone says that, hey, maybe I forgot to mention something in the video. Of course, my videos is about just getting to the product, setting it up simply, and then you can do it the way that you want to do it. And that's what it's about. This is the way that I do it. I've been in this hobby for a very long time. And so that's just the way that, I do it. And, that might just be the basis that I'm showing you, but I might go back and I might put a check valve on something or something like that, or a return valve or whatever. But I'm just showing you a quick way on how to set it up and get it going. And then you can do it the way that you want to do it. But disrespectful comments, cursing and stuff like that is not allowed on this channel. If I catch it on this channel, I'm going to remove that comment and I will report that person, because it is not tolerated on YouTube, and I'm not going to tolerate it either. So without further ado, let's talk about the aquarium a little bit. So as you can see here, I have my shell dwellers on this side of the aquarium. Now, if you're going to set up a Lake Tanganyika tank, I would say start out with the largest aquarium that you possibly can start out with. I wouldn't start out with nothing smaller than a 40-gallon breeder, because you're going to have room in that tank. You're going to have room for your shell dwellers on one side, and you're going to have room for your rock dwellers on the other side. Now, the kind of fish that... Okay, now, so this is how I would set it up. I would definitely buy my shell dwellers first, and I would have a big group of shell dwellers. Don't start up with 5 or 6 or something like that, but you want to start out with a large section of the shell dwellers first. And so give them about 2 weeks, and I would start out with like as many as you possibly can, according to the size of your tank. If you got a tank that is like large as this one is, I started out with probably about 40 or 50 shell dwellers in here. Okay, so I would start out with about 40, 50 shell dwellers in a tank this size. And they got a room of 2 feet by 2 feet. And I will let them get established, they get their shells and everything going. And then after they get established, I will stack up even more shells, like up to this high, because shell dwellers really have to have a lot of shells. You can start with brevis, multifasciatus. You can start out with different ocellatus, similis, whatever shell dweller that you want. Just know if you start out with the ocellatus, they're not quite like the multifasciatus and build families like that. But you want to stack up shells for the simple reason of you want some fry to survive in your tank. Now, all the fry are not going to survive, but just remember, the more shells you have, the more opportunity that fry will have to survive in your tank. And so definitely stack those shells up, because in the wild, they're stacked up no telling how many feet in the wild. And so lots of shells, and these guys will be really happy with their shells. Now, moving on to your rock dwellers, you of course got your rocks set up and things of that nature. The fish that I would choose would be Julius chromis, mainly the transcriptus or the ornatus, as you can see here. I've got some transcriptus. I've got some ornatus that is in the tank. Another great option would be a Leupi. Now, I only got one Leupi. You got to watch the kind of the Leupi that you get. If you get a bunch of Leupi, they can be very aggressive toward one another, and they can also, when they breed, they can be very difficult to keep them in a community tank. Another great rock dweller is the Calvus, the white Calvus. There's one there. So he's another great not that, but he's another great rock dweller is what I'm trying to say. He's definitely a great one to have. Now, they are predatory fish. They will eat some of the fry in your tank, but if you have a lot of shells stacked up on top of each other, you will have some fry survival. And even though they're predatory fish, they're not very aggressive fish, which is really good. Also, another rock dweller that you might want to think about having is the Bacardi. Now, this is the albino Bacardi, but my experience with having Bacardi along with multifasciatus has not been good. This Bacardi here, soon as I introduced him into the tank, he went right over to the shells and started bothering the multifasciatus. And when I had when I had Bacardi in my 90-gallon tank, 4 females, and I had some multifasciatus, the female Bacardis was making it very difficult for these multifasciatus. And so that's something that you want to think about as well. And when Bacardis do breed, they take over the whole tank. So I just really want to include any Bacardis in with the multifasciatus, cichlids, or shell dwellers in general. I think you're going to run into some problems. So I just want to include them, unless you're just going to have one like I got here, and then you should be okay. And now for your open water swimmers, you have a variety of fish to choose from. Actually, you got your, if you want to keep it biotop, you got your Cyprochromis leptosoma. I would get just a regular Cyprochromis. They get between 3.5 and 4.5 inches. The jumbo Cyprochromis can get up to 6 inches, and they are quite aggressive actually. So they might make it difficult for some of the fish in your tank. You can also choose if you don't want to have a Cyprochromis. If your money's a little bit short, you can also get Australian rainbow fish, neon rainbow fish, turquoise rainbow fish. Those are great options. I would not get anything larger than, of course, the like something like the, what is that rainbow fish called? But it's ones that get like 6 inches. But I want to get that no rainbow fish that gets over 6 inches or get up to 6 inches. I just think that those would be a difficult rainbow fish to keep in here. The basmati is what I'm trying to say. Rainbow fish that gets up to 6 inches, and they will never reach their full potential in their color as well. And so I definitely would not use the basmati or the red rainbow fish that can get really big, up to 6 inches. So I just want to use those. Other options, of course, Harlequin rasboras, brilliant rasboras, zebra danios, large screws. Those will work just fine in your Lake Tanganyika aquarium as well. Now, you see this rainbow fish back here in the corner? I believe I can get him there. He has a large growth on his nose. Don't know exactly what that is. It's not contagious. I tried treating him with everything. He has been in there like that for several months. Looks horrible. I almost even thought about getting rid of him. But he just keeps hanging on and keeps living, and it's not passed on to any other fish. So if anybody know what kind of disease this is, let me know. I've looked it up. I believe it's some kind of lipnoid. But if you can definitely tell me what is on his nose there, that would be of a great help to me as well. Look at that. That looks horrible, doesn't it? It doesn't seem to affect them, but it looks horrible. And some scavengers you want to look at. Maybe some Synodontis catfish. Just know that Synodontis catfish swim around a lot, and they will eat. They are predatory too, and they will eat your fry. But they're a great option. Another great option for would be bushy nose placos. Also Pandagaras. Nearite snails, MTS snails, and ram's horn snails are all great options for scavengers in your aquarium. And so those are really great options. Okay, so now I've talked about that a little bit. And of course, you can put plants in your tank. Let's get the camera back on me. So hopefully that went through good. I hope so, at least. So that's what I would do. And look at my earlier video on how to set up a Lake Tanganyika tank and the way that I've got it set up. There's many different options. You know, you can use sponge filters if you want to. Your tank won't be as clear. You don't have to do everything like I did to my tank. You know, UV sterilizer, stuff like that. You could get by without that. But this is my dream tank. This is my best tank yet. Of course, I've had some awesome tanks in the past that wasn't video, so I can't 100% say that. But I will say this is my best cichlid tank. And why do I like Lake Tanganyika tank so much? Because for one thing, these fish, you know, they come in a variety of different shapes and sizes and colors. They're not as colorful as the Lake Malawi fish, unless you get into trophias and stuff like that. But when you get into trophias, of course, that's more like a species-only tank because they're, you know, very vegetarian fish, and they will eat your plants. And so while a lot of Lake Tanganyika fish are actually predatory or meat-eating fish, they are so. But to have a community like Lake Tanganyika fish tank is pretty awesome because you can have plants, rocks, sand, shells, open water fish, and rock dwelling fish. And you can also mix in other community fish if you want to, as long as they can tolerate the cichlids and as long as they can tolerate the hard water. And so it just gives you a great variety. And a wonderful thing about Lake Tanganyika cichlids, in most cases, not all, but in most cases, they are not as aggressive as like the fish from Lake Malawi, like the Mabuna, or even some of the peacocks, or even some of the haps, can be very aggressive. And so that opens up the door to do more stuff with these fish. And so that's what makes it so fun to have a tank like this. Well, anyway, this is Marcus with Aquarium Hacks. Just giving you a few tips on what kind of fish that you can keep or how to set up a Lake Tanganyika cichlid tank. Not trying to make this too long of a video, but sometimes there are just some things that need to be said and some things that need to be done. On my next video, I'm going to try to hopefully get started on my betta tank. And so it's a little 5-gallon tank. I kind of tell you about it and what brand it is, but I really like it and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And so until next time, hey, keep on hacking.